Thank you. Before we begin, I would like to do a little brief background information about our first tune. Capriccio Español by Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov is a masterwork for orchestra. It's multi-movement work, and as you can guess, it is very Mediterranean in flavor. This is an excerpt from that massive masterwork that includes excerpts from the first movement, the Alborado, and from the Fandango. So I hope you appreciate it. This is what we're going to use for our warm-up piece for festival. If you look in the program there on the back side, you'll see that one of the accomplishments of this group and of Wind Ensemble last year at District Festival was getting straight ones from all three judges on the floor and from the sight reading judge at festival. And we're shooting for that again this year. So this would be our warm-up piece, and the second piece that we're playing tonight, Pavan, which is a slower, more courtly dance. It's very exposed with a lot of the winds and the strings, would be one of our first adjudicated pieces. So I hope you appreciate this, Capriccio Español. before we go any further, I want to point out some phenomenal students that are on stage. You noticed in one of the slides that I had as you were walking in tonight, it said one of Carol's largest orchestra, and that's true. I lost several students last year just because of the way things graduated, and we had built up our cello and our low string section and some of our violins, and that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, with the orchestra class, I don't have 3 levels of band that I can pull from. Or 3 levels of orchestra, I could say. It's always been sort of a Carroll County thing, whether we like it or not, that there's a smaller string population. So I'm begging any of you that are out there in the audience, if you have a student that's in high school, it's never too late to learn a string instrument, particularly a low string instrument. I really don't like to put newcomers on violin or viola because that's a little bit harder for me to deal with in terms of teaching positions, but low strings they can always pick up. And if you have a student in middle school and they're playing a string instrument, please encourage them to stick with the program so that they can be a part of our orchestra as they get older. I want to point out some students in the program that are new to a string instrument, as in they had never touched one prior to joining class. In August. So I like to start with our cello section. It's going to be hard for her to stand because she's a little bit crippled right now, but Katie French is a former flute player, and she's on cello now. I convinced her that if she could only take 1 credit of music, maybe she would give up her flute and try coming here, and she did a great job. Also, another flute player that gave up the flute to do cello, Becca Scobie. To give up an instrument. You can do more than 1 music class. I just didn't say that they just gave up their instrument, but they only could fit 1 credit of music, and they're willing to give something new a try, and that speaks really highly to the level of enthusiasm. Moving into the bass section, you just saw him in jazz band on guitar, but now he's joining us on double bass, Josh Earls. I shouldn't say this student never picked up a string instrument because he played violin for a portion of his middle school career and then never touched it again, and the poor thing is probably collecting dust somewhere in the Rooney household, but he is back on double bass, and that is Joe Rooney back there. That's awesome when you can take students in this school and convince them to do new instruments. So keep in mind that that is always a possibility. Students and those of you that have a student in the middle school. I also like to draw your attention to our students that are a part of the all-county groups, starting with our string students. If you could hold your applause to the end so these students can rise. Christian Zeitler on violin. Caroline Kim on violin. Brandon Foster, viola. Josh Fry, double bass, and that is our all-county string representation. Some other students that are on stage, Caitlin Martiniano, back in the clarinet section, is, go ahead and stand up, all-county band, and because she's principal clarinet, is the principal clarinet in all-county orchestra. We have her sister, Carrie Martiniano, who is also an all-county band and all-county orchestra. Alexander Stone Road, who is our principal timpanist for all-county band and all-county orchestra. Raise your hand, Alex. And Christian Bachman, who is our principal mallets for all-county band and orchestra. And some students sitting back in the wind section that aren't a part of the all-county orchestra per se, because their instrumentation is not used. It's not standard instrumentation. Starting with Sarah Tokar on clarinet. Grant Orndorff and TJ Martin on alto saxophone. Chris Choi and Matt Norfolk on trumpet, Andrew Johnston, trombone, Alex Wickner, euphonium, and Trevor Hiltz, tuba. This is our county group. Thank you. You can sit down. I would also like to point out that in the viola section, Brandon Foster, if you could rise. Brandon was selected as senior all-county orchestra viola alternate, and we're just waiting for somebody just to get a little bit sick or, like have a family emergency, so I can call up Brandon. It does, believe it or not, it really does happen. Like the crud is going around at Liberty High School. I think I myself am catching it. So, we don't wish anybody ill, but sort of we do, in this situation. So we're just waiting. It's a major accomplishment to get into an all-state group, especially our string groups. It's really hard to break into. So congratulations, Brendan. And joining the Maryland All-State band for her second year, 8th chair clarinet, Caitlin Martiniano. next piece that I was describing, the pavan, one of the pieces we're using for festival, it's minimal instrumentation. And you know, my percussion students, they talk about us being a family. They're such good sports because this program here in the winter program tonight doesn't use a lot of percussion. And typically we're pretty saturated with orchestral percussion. But this is one of those pieces where, you know, the composer just decided to go percussionist. So I'm gonna dismiss them to go off stage and sort of like hang out in the wings. And this really features a lot of the winds, a lot of solos from Anna Minogue, oboe, Catherine Dinsmore, flute and her partner, Sarah Reinhardt, Caitlin Martiniano, oboe and her partner, violin, clarinet, third time's a charm, and her partner Sarah Tokar, Chris Choi on trumpet. It just travels all over the place in the winds. And the great thing about it sort of starts with the flute, and then oboe and clarinet comes in with the same melody, and eventually we get over here to Christian and Lisa and the first violins the whole way back, and then the second violins, and then the viola. And I really like it because I've heard several arrangements of the pavan, whether it be Latin or just this straight arrangement, and I think it's a good slow piece. Slow is hard to sell with students, so I hope that you enjoy it. This is the far right pavan. Before we go to our next piece, I want to put a shout out that just like I get guest artists for all my groups, I'm looking for somebody to be a guest artist with this group for the Pops concert. I know some of the students mentioned that they have a private teacher that might be interested. Christian, don't you have like a mom and a grand? Yeah, you know, like Bonnie Zeiler. Just put me on the spot there. Okay, you know, but I am looking for people that would be interested in playing with this group. That just learning to accompany in a group role is so important, and just having work with those master musicians is awesome for my kids and all the groups. So just be thinking about that. House lights are sort of coming up mysteriously. Okay, this last piece, oh man, I really don't like doing overly holiday musical concerts because I really feel like by the time students get to be in high school, like Jingle Bells is overdone at a holiday concert for school, but I finally found O Come, O Come Emmanuel, Advent 15th century like carol that was just beautiful for orchestra. So we would like to close saying, first of all, Happy Hanukkah to those of you that have been celebrating this week, and we'll finish up next week. I'm sorry we don't have a Hanukkah selection on this concert for you, but Merry Christmas to all of you who are celebrating, and if you're not, Happy New Year, providing we get past next Friday. Where are you going to be? We're going to be last day of school, right? You know, just best blessings to you going forward. Ryan, why are the house lights up? Okay, thank you. That's my bud. Thank you, Ryan, for helping me the past 2 nights. Again, if you didn't stop by our table out in the lobby and you're interested, please do that on your way out. You all have been a great audience. Thank you to all my students. Here we go. Happy holiday peace. O come, Emmanuel.
you.